that are giving back to the community and engaging around our CR initiatives. And I can't spill the beans on too many things because we have some press releases coming out and I could get in trouble with the league. But some cool things that I can tell you about. So we'll kick off the weekend with a couple of WNBA clinics in terms of giving back and engaging youth in our community. For the first time ever, are you familiar with the Lynx Dream Team? So we signed 5 youth, and actually one of our youth that has been on our dream team in the past, Lene, is here. So shout out to Lene. So I can spill the beans a little bit, but don't tell the league I told you about this. So we are doing our own version of the dream team for the first time ever with the WNBA All-Star, and we are signing 10 youth, and 5 will be assigned to Team A, and 5 will be assigned to Team B, and essentially they'll be engaged throughout the entire WNBA All-Star weekend. They're all kind of overcoming various obstacles in their life, and they're just incredibly inspiring and wonderful youth. They'll be a part of the practice. I don't even think Lene knows everything we're going to do, but we'll spoil them throughout the weekend. They'll get to meet everybody from the team that they're assigned to. They're actually going to get announced and get to run out in the intros during the practice that we have. And then they're going to do their own media circuit in between the 2 practices. They're actually going to be honored in-game on Saturday, which is pretty awesome. And as you know, the game is on ABC on national television. So really excited about that. And then also everybody that has a ticket to the game on Saturday is also invited to the practices on Friday. So starting at 1 o'clock, the doors will open at noon. So we would love to have all of you guys come down and have a great kind of intimate, personal interaction with the players and seeing them practice. So we had the first team practice at 1, goes about 45 minutes. And then other cool things, which I'll spill a little bit of the beans, just don't tell the league I told you so far. It'll be fun, engaging, interactive, and we're doing an Inspiring Women talk at halftime, I'm calling it, when all the players and coaches leave the court to do the media. Rebecca Lobo will be hosting a Inspiring Women panel that Cheryl will be on. In addition, Rasmussen College is the local presenting partner for the practice and the reception, and the president, Trenda Bowen-Breen, who happens to be the wife of Shelley Bowen-Breen, who I believe we're going to talk about this evening. They have come on as a partner supporting it as well, so she will be on it. And then we have Michelle Van Gorp, who was former WNBA player as well, who works for the NBA now, who will be on it as well.
Former Lynx, Michelle
Former
Van Gorp.
Lynx, yep. And then we'll go into the second practice. That evening we'll have the welcome reception for all the players and coaches and doing things that have never been done before with that as well to kind of show everybody what we're about. But I would just say we'll love everybody to be there. Tell everybody you know. For us, we want to make sure we sell out the entire arena and show everybody kind of what we built here in terms of being a hotbed of women's basketball supporters, and that it's so much more than basketball. It's really a societal movement that we're all a part of. So I thank you for that. Let's pack it. Lower bowl is sold out already, but we need everybody's help in selling out the upper bowl as well.
lynxbasketball.com. I went on to check on everybody to see how this was going, and I clicked in some sections, and there are some upper bowls that we've got some selling to do. So
yes.
When you leave here, you've got some homework. Let's make sure that next time I click on, I'll give you a few days. Next time I click on, I want to see some of that red gone with some of those seats.
Yep.
And while I have you guys here, I know you're friends with Shelley Bowen-Breen, so let's introduce her and her work right now. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, but I want you guys to tell me about Shelley herself. This is from Shelley. Girls' participation in sports and fitness is exploding, but the toys they play with, the books they read are not representative of this movement. Did you know that in the U.S., less than 1% of children's picture books published annually have a female character who is physically active? Shelley Bean, the Sports Queen book series is changing that one book at a time. Follow along in each book as Shelley Bean, the Sports Queen, learns a new sport. It's not easy for her, but she never gives up. And to reward herself at the end of each story, she makes a new sports charm for her crown, proud of what she's accomplished. Then use the tips at the end of each book to learn how to shoot a basketball or ice skate yourself. Meet her best friend, Maya, and her buddies, Parisa and Mason. And don't forget Shelley Bean's trusty little dog, Spike. He's always up to something. To purchase your copies or join the fan club, go to ShelleyBeanTheSportsQueen.com. That's ShelleyBeanTheSportsQueen.com, or search Shelley Bean the Sports Queen on Amazon today. Why don't you guys tell me about Shelley?
Well, this goes back a few years for us. Shelley actually used to be employed by the Lynx.
So she was our ticket sales manager for the Lynx way back in the day, for those legends that remember.
Yeah, and so actually, I remember when Shelley was kind of transitioning away from the business world and wanted to venture off into doing this. This is, I think, an incredibly meaningful project for Shelley because I think it goes back to her childhood. A lot of her childhood is reflected in these books, and I think more than anything, when you I know for me when I go to a bookstore and you look at representation. If you just look at every book, every cover, every cover, you will see representation of all people. And that's absolutely what Shelley stands for. She's incredibly passionate about basketball. But I think at the end of the day, what is important is that these aren't books for little girls. These are books for little kids. And I think that's what's really, I think what Shelley wants is in that representation is, when you go to the bookstore, you mostly see books, especially sports books, with just little boys. And so if you're a little girl, you maybe can't identify with that. And I think being able to identify with both. So little boys seeing Shelley being the sports queen and growing up, seeing Shelley Bean and seeing her as her equal. That's a part of shaping society. And so it's through books like these we get a chance to do that. So please support Shelley Bean, the sports queen.
Good stuff.
I'll just add to that. Shelley is an incredible person and very strong, empowered woman. And for us, she shares our same value in that we're helping to raise the next generation of enlightened boys and girls. And that's what we try to do through the WNBA. And that's what she's doing through her book series as well. So we're really proud to be a part of it and certainly support her as well.
I think we have a question. Go right ahead. Oh, sorry, Carly.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi there.
This is my daughter, Callie, a big Lynx
Hi, Callie.
fan.
I love it. A Lindsay Whalen fan? All right.
Yeah. As a mom I have two daughters, and as a mom of two daughters, in this day and age, it's just really important for me to teach my daughters about strong, powerful women. And so I was just wondering, we love to look things up and read, and so I was wondering if you have a couple of examples of strong, powerful women that you've looked up to in your life that you could share with us a little bit.
Yeah, I think for me it was, so sports were always such a big part of my life since the time I was young. Thanks for the question. I was 4 or 5 years old. I started out playing softball and baseball. I played baseball with the boys when I was 9, kind of thing. And so for me it was always about the coaches. Now, but growing up I only had male coaches. Until I got to, even my first basketball coaches were men. It wasn't until high school that I had my first role models, and they were my basketball coaches. I was at Ocean City High School for one season, legendary coach down there, and then when we moved to Washington Township, it became my basketball coach and my softball coach. And without fail, you don't necessarily know it at that time, but you end up being so grateful later in life when you think of the ways that she led. And when you talk about, we need more women coaching sports, and we need them at a younger age. These are things that when you can, be led by a female, you see that again, creating a norm. And it's not that it has to be either or. I think the representation of men and women is healthy, but right now the representation for women is way too low. And so I encourage any females to get involved in coaching boys sports too. That's a really good place for us to have some representation. And so I think for me it was my coach, and there's no question my parents were very much role models, and so much of my strength and my fortitude and my edginess, believe it or not, came from my mom. She has far more grace than I ever had. I have more of my dad when it comes to not having much grace. But I think what did they do for me? When I look back on it, they allowed me to be me. They saw that I enjoyed sports, and they facilitated those things. If there's a WNBA team in town, making sure that you are putting her in front of those professional athletes that are tremendous role models, whatever it is, whatever the interest might be, showing them role models is incredibly powerful. It's the identification happens at a young age, and it moves them. They don't know it at this age, but they're going to experience things that they're going to hang on to for the rest of their lives. It's going to shape their lives. And so I was very, very fortunate. I did have, when I got to college, I had men coaches. And so that's why for me it really stands out. And Ann Donovan, the late Ann Donovan, that gave me my chance to coach in the WNBA. These were mentors. These were people that inspired me, and I've been very, very fortunate. Thanks for the question. Get yourself a hat or T-shirt.
Grab a hat or T-shirt. Carly, you're welcome to stay or go back and eat your dinner, whatever you want. Okay, sounds good. Thanks for the question. Again, if you come up and ask a question, feel free to grab a hat or a T-shirt. So let's talk about the greatness of Candace Parker some more.
She is a heck of a basketball player.
She is.
I mean, one heck of a basketball player.
Yeah.
She had played in a game against Vegas a couple nights ago, and 34 points. She just does everything. She's a big time challenge to defend. Probably doesn't get enough credit for her defense. She's 6'4", she's long. As you guys know, she's a point forward, and she passes. That's probably her tremendous asset. She could score, but her tremendous asset to that team, and I think Brian's done an unbelievable job in the way that he's utilized her in their offense. To find NECA cutting, to find, Chelsea Gray on the backside off help defense. Candace is a tremendous passer, and those are ways that are just make them very, very difficult to play against. And I think Brian's done a great job, with that team. And then obviously Candace Parker's, no question, one of the best players in the world. And
did you know that she has never in her life committed a foul?
I didn't know that. Our fans might beg to differ, huh? I think our fans enjoy. I was just saying to somebody, we were talking about rivalries, and you need a good villain, right? You got to have that. That kind of what makes it fun. We have a few teams that come in here that I think you all really enjoy. Coming to the arena and can't wait to get the game going and fire some things at these players. And hopefully you felt that way about Bill Lambier. If you ever see him again, let's make sure we're giving it to him.
He can take it.
He used to get booed as a coach. When I worked for him, he used to really, he'd walk into an arena and they would just go crazy booing him, but he loved it.
Yeah.
He loved being booed. I want to say in Connecticut they play the theme song. I don't know, was it like Darth Vader or something like that? Some kind of theme song. And they had different places had his face on those sticks, and he absolutely loves all that. So I kind of told everybody, no, lay low. He likes all that. Don't pay any attention to him. He doesn't like that much.
They never boo the 12th person on the team. They boo you if you're good, if you're dangerous.
Well, it's usually that you've done something right. You've won some games along the way, or you've done some things to have success. And but that's what makes it fun. I think the competitiveness of this league, how good this league is, how we're all competitive and passionate about what we're doing, and we leave it out there every night. Our regular season is one that's incredibly taxing because we're all vying for this playoff position. That's why I would strongly encourage the NBA to take on very similar model, because it's a coveted spot to be in the top two. It's not a guarantee, but it's been pretty helpful to us to be able to be in the finals. And so, if you're not in the top two, then you're really, okay, then obviously the next best is try to get in the top four. So you just have one single elimination game, but this is a highly competitive situation.
Obviously, you have a starting five full of champions and record holders and Olympians. And you, after the last game, you talked about will. Can you put in context for this audience what you meant by will?
Yeah, I think the will to win is something that you all have experienced. It's a contagious feeling that when you're watching our team play, the lengths that we're willing to go to for each other to win a possession. And you string those possessions together. And, for this team, it's a little bit uncharted territory in that there are times when we're struggling with our collective will, the starting group. And it's not a great feeling for them because they know it. They know what's, missing and when. In some cases, we know the why. But at the end of the day, it's something that they know that they have to be successful. And, I told our group, this is what our 8th year of, this team being together. Obviously Sil was added in 2015, but for the other 4, it's our 8th year being together. For 7 years, the way that they competed together at a high level, and people marveled at how long we could do it. And so now in our 8th year, I think you're starting to see some of the toll of that success. And I can tell you that we talked about a tank. If 10 is full, some of our tanks aren't a 10 anymore. And so whatever the tank is, whatever we have, if somebody's tank's at 7, let's make sure that we're given 7. If somebody else can give a little more to make up, so we can fill that tank, let's do that. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find our way. We know what's expected of us. And we are, we want to fulfill those expectations. At the same time, I think having perspective is really important because, you know, sometimes guilt comes in, guilt of knowing, you know, that we're disappointing you all. You know, that's a hard thing, you know, of pleasing me, pleasing Glenn.